On most nights in America, nothing important happens at all. That is not a criticism. It is simply an observation. The sun sets in a way that has been rehearsed millions of times before, slipping behind trees, rooftops, gas stations, and distant water towers without ceremony. The sky fades from a polite blue into softer shades that no one names because no one is paying attention. Somewhere, someone notices for half a second, then looks back down at their phone. As darkness settles in, houses begin their quiet routine. Porch lights turn on one by one, not dramatically, but with a soft click that often goes unheard. Inside, living rooms glow faintly. Televisions murmur without being watched closely. A rerun plays. The laugh track laughs. No one in the room laughs back. It is comforting in a way that does not demand awareness. In kitchens across the country, refrigerators hum steadily, performing their one task without complaint. The sound blends into the background, joining the gentle whir of ceiling fans and the occasional tick of a wall clock that was purchased years ago and never replaced. Somewhere, an ice maker releases a few cubes into a plastic tray. The sound is sharp but brief, and then the night resumes its stillness. Dinner dishes sit in sinks, soaking quietly. Some are washed immediately, others will wait until morning. No strong feelings are attached to this decision. The dishwasher, if used, runs with a low, steady rhythm that resembles distant rain. It finishes its cycle long after everyone has forgotten it is on. In bedrooms, lamps are switched off one at a time. Beds creak softly as people settle in. Sheets are adjusted. Pillows are punched into shape, though the shape never quite holds. A phone is checked one last time, then placed face down, as if that makes it less tempting. Notifications arrive anyway, silently. Outside, streets are calm. Cars pass occasionally, their headlights sweeping briefly across quiet lawns and parked vehicles before disappearing again. At intersections, traffic lights continue their cycle for no one in particular. Red, green, yellow, red again. The system does not mind that the road is empty. It is patient. It has the whole night. Streetlights hum faintly, casting soft circles of light onto sidewalks that see no footsteps. Shadows of tree branches rest on pavement without moving much. A light breeze shifts a few leaves, but even that effort seems minimal. Somewhere, a porch flag hangs mostly still. In apartment buildings, sounds travel gently through walls. A muffled cough, a television turned down low, the soft closing of a door. These noises are not intrusive. They are reassuring signs that life is continuing quietly in nearby rooms. No one investigates them. In suburban neighborhoods, garages remain closed. Driveways are empty. Lawns rest under the weight of darkness. Sprinkler systems, set on timers, wait patiently for their early morning cue. They do not rush. The night continues without urgency. Convenience stores stay open, brightly lit and mostly empty. A cashier leans slightly on the counter, scrolling through something unimportant. A refrigerator full of bottled drinks hums in agreement with the rest of the country's appliances. A bell on the door rings occasionally, then falls silent again. In small towns, main streets look almost staged, as if prepared for a photograph that will never be taken. Storefronts are dark, neon signs glow faintly in windows advertising nothing urgent. Parking meters stand unused, benches remain empty, satisfied with their lack of purpose for the evening. In cities, the night is slightly louder but still restrained. A distant siren fades quickly. An elevator hums upward. Somewhere above, someone opens a window and lets in air that smells faintly of asphalt and something fried hours ago. The sound of traffic becomes a low, continuous presence, like a reminder that movement exists elsewhere.
Inside countless homes, people drift toward sleep at different speeds. Some fall asleep immediately. Others stare at the ceiling, thinking about nothing in particular. Thoughts arrive slowly and leave without resistance. Tomorrow exists, but it is not demanding attention right now. Pets settle into their routines as well. Dogs curl at the foot of beds or on rugs they have claimed over time. Cats find places that look uncomfortable but are apparently perfect. Fish tanks glow faintly, bubbles rising at a steady pace that does not change regardless of the hour. Clocks move forward 1 second at a time. Digital displays glow green or blue. Microwave clocks remain incorrectly set, usually by a few minutes, sometimes by several years. No one fixes them tonight. The time displayed is close enough. In rural areas, the night feels wider. The sky stretches overhead, dark and indifferent. Crickets perform their repetitive song without variation. A barn stands quietly, holding nothing new. Gravel roads wait without expecting traffic. Mailboxes lean slightly, unchanged since daylight. Somewhere, a late-night radio host speaks calmly to an unseen audience, filling the silence with gentle commentary. The words are not meant to be remembered. They exist only to accompany wakefulness until it fades. The hours pass in this way, unremarkable and steady. Midnight arrives without announcement. 1 o'clock follows. 2. The country does not react. Systems continue functioning. Electricity flows. Water rests in pipes. Roads remain where they are. Eventually, the deepest part of night settles in. The world feels paused, though it is not. It is simply moving slowly enough to appear still. This is the version of America that rarely makes headlines, the one that does not demand attention, the one that exists between days. And then, without ceremony, the night begins to loosen its grip. Somewhere far away, a bakery turns on its lights, a delivery truck starts its engine, coffee makers are set to begin their quiet work. The ordinary night, having done absolutely nothing of importance, gently steps aside.
The hours stretch comfortably, without milestones or markers that matter very much. Time moves forward in small, equal pieces, each minute nearly identical to the last. There is no need to rush. There is no reason to pause. The night is content to proceed at its own uneventful pace. In living rooms, people sit quietly, not fully watching what plays on the screen. The glow from the television paints soft shapes on walls and ceilings. Commercials arrive and leave. Programs end and begin again. Someone adjusts the volume slightly lower, not because it is too loud, but because quieter feels more appropriate. In kitchens, the final signs of activity fade. Counters are wiped in slow, distracted motions. A light above the sink stays on longer than necessary. It is eventually turned off, either deliberately or by habit. The room becomes just another darkened space, holding still. Bedrooms prepare themselves without instruction. Blankets are folded back, pillows are arranged. The air settles. Fans turn steadily, producing a consistent sound that does not change from hour to hour. It becomes part of the night's texture, as unnoticed as breathing. Outside, the neighborhood remains calm. A cat crosses a street with no traffic. A raccoon pauses near a trash bin, considers its options, then moves on quietly. None of this leaves an impression. The night absorbs it and moves forward. Windows reflect faint interior lights. Curtains shift slightly. Somewhere, a bathroom light flicks on briefly, then off again. The house returns to darkness without protest. In larger cities, the night hums softly rather than sleeping fully. Distant trains pass underground. An occasional bus sighs to a stop, then continues on.
Office buildings glow on a few upper floors where someone finishes a task that could have waited until morning. Above it all, the sky remains steady. Clouds drift slowly, if they are there at all. Stars are visible only in places far from streetlights, and even then they are not the focus. They simply exist, unnoticed and unremarked upon. People begin to sleep more deeply now. Thoughts thin out. Worries lose their edges. The mind drifts in directions that do not matter. Time stretches even further, bending gently around unconsciousness. Clocks continue their quiet work. Second hands move in small, obedient steps. Digital numbers change without sound. The world measures itself constantly, even when no one is watching. Somewhere a train horn sounds far away, low and prolonged. It does not wake anyone. It is a familiar sound, woven into the night like everything else. The night holds these moments carefully, without emphasis. Nothing is highlighted, nothing is erased. It simply allows everything to be exactly as it is. Hours pass. The night remains patient. It does not grow tired of itself. It does not seek attention. It does not try to be memorable. And that is its quiet success. The stillness deepens as the night reaches its most settled state. This is the portion of time that feels widest, when hours seem to stretch longer than they do during the day. The world does not disappear, but it steps back, allowing only the most necessary movements to continue. In houses, everything remains where it was left. Shoes wait by doors, jackets hang without being touched. Tables hold small collections of ordinary items that will be noticed again in the morning. Nothing shifts unless it must. Breathing fills rooms softly. It is the most consistent sound now, though no one hears it. Sleep evens out the rhythms of the body. Dreams wander slowly, without urgency, without structure. They rise and fade without leaving instructions behind. Outside, the air cools another degree. Moisture settles gently on grass and rooftops. The smell of night, faint, neutral, slightly earthy, rests quietly over neighborhoods. There is no breeze strong enough to announce itself, only a mild movement that suggests the world has not stopped entirely. Roads remain empty for long stretches of time. When a car does appear, it moves carefully, as if aware it is a guest in someone else's quiet. Tires hum briefly against pavement, then the sound disappears around a corner. The road returns to waiting. Traffic signals continue their steady rhythm, illuminating intersections that see no crossings. They do not slow down or speed up. They are not disappointed. Their purpose does not depend on an audience. In apartment buildings, hallways stay dim. Exit signs glow red or green, quietly insisting on their presence. A vending machine hums, stocked with items that will not be chosen tonight. The machine does not mind. In hospitals, lights remain on. Monitors blink calmly. Staff move with practiced ease, speaking softly, keeping the night intact where they can. Even here, urgency is controlled, measured, contained. Elsewhere, convenience stores remain open. Shelves are straightened for no particular reason. Coffee pots are refilled, though no one is waiting. The doors open occasionally, then close again, sealing the quiet back inside. The night continues its work of holding everything in place. It does not push events forward. It simply prevents them from falling apart. At some point, without marking the moment, the darkness reaches its fullest depth. This is the center of the night, though no sign indicates its arrival. It is simply when nothing feels like it is moving forward or backward. Everything rests. Eventually, the balance begins to shift again, not noticeably, not all at once, just enough that the night loosens slightly. A bird calls too early. A light turns on somewhere it usually does not. A person wakes and does not fall back asleep. The night accepts this without resistance. It does not cling to its remaining hours. It understands that it is temporary. Slowly, quietly, it prepares to leave, having once again fulfilled its role, without spectacle, without interruption, and without asking to be remembered. As the night prepares to withdraw, it does so carefully, as if not to disturb anything it has been holding together. The darkness thins in small, polite increments. It does not rush the transition. It allows the last moments of quiet to remain intact for as long as possible. In bedrooms, a few people shift slightly in their sleep. An arm moves, a blanket is pulled higher, someone exhales more deeply and turns toward the cooler side of the pillow. These movements are unconscious, automatic, and perfectly timed. The body knows what to do without instruction. The hum of appliances continues without pause. Refrigerators keep their steady rhythm. Water heaters wait. Routers blink patiently, connecting devices that are not currently in use. The invisible systems of the country remain awake, even as most people are not. Outside, the sky lightens just enough to soften the darkness. The difference is subtle, noticeable only to those who happen to be awake and looking out a window without purpose. Streetlights still glow, unaware that their role is nearly finished. They will turn off later when sensors decide the time is right. In quiet neighborhoods, early risers begin to move. A door opens slowly. Shoes are put on without sound. A car starts, hesitates, then pulls away with its headlights cutting briefly through the stillness. The night allows this interruption and closes around it once the sound fades. Birds test the air with tentative calls, not a full chorus yet, just a few notes spaced far apart, as if checking whether the silence is truly ending. The night does not respond, it simply continues to fade. In cities, delivery trucks make their first rounds, bakeries turn on lights, office buildings awaken one floor at a time. The shift from night to morning is gradual and uneven, happening in pockets rather than all at once. Some people wake feeling rested, others wake feeling exactly the same as they did before sleeping. The night makes no promises about outcomes. It only provides the space for rest to occur if it is going to. Clocks approach the hour when alarms will sound. The anticipation exists only in the machinery. The night itself remains neutral, unconcerned with schedules or obligations. It has already done what it came to do. When the first alarms finally break the silence, they feel almost out of place, sharp against the softness that came before. Hands reach out automatically to silence them. Eyes open reluctantly. The night releases its hold without protest.
Sunlight begins to enter rooms, touching walls and floors that have been in shadow for hours. The ordinary objects of daily life reappear exactly where they were left. Nothing has changed, and yet the night is gone. It leaves behind no record of its passing, only the quiet understanding that it will return again, later, almost identical, ready once more to hold the country in calm, uneventful darkness, and do absolutely nothing at all.
Morning takes over fully now, but it does not erase the night so much as it builds quietly on top of it. The calm that existed hours earlier lingers faintly, tucked behind open curtains and morning routines. It is still present in the way people move a little slower than they will later, in the way voices remain softer before the day fully settles in. Beds are left unmade for a while. Pillows keep the shape of heads that rested there. Blankets cool gradually, releasing warmth back into the room. The night's final traces fade without resistance, leaving no clear boundary between rest and activity. In kitchens, cabinets open and close, cups are filled, Spoons stir without thought. Coffee is poured and carried to windows where people stand briefly, looking outside without really looking at anything. The view is familiar. The street looks the same as it always does. The night did not rearrange anything while it was here. Outside, the last street lights turn off one by one. Sidewalks regain their neutral color. Shadows shorten and retreat. The quiet of night is replaced not by noise, but by gentle activity. Doors open, conversations begin, engines start. The volume rises slowly, never all at once. Yet even as the day grows louder, the memory of the night remains embedded in the landscape. It rests in the spaces between sounds, in the pauses between tasks. The calm does not vanish completely, it simply steps aside. Somewhere, someone thinks briefly about how well they slept or how poorly. The thought passes quickly. There is no time to examine it. The day has practical expectations now. But the ordinary American night has already moved on, unchanged by whether it was noticed or not. It has no interest in credit. It does not ask to be remembered. It will return later, regardless. As evening comes again, hours from now, the light will soften once more. Shadows will lengthen. The air will cool. Houses will settle back into their familiar, quiet shapes. The cycle will repeat with such accuracy that it feels timeless. And once again, across cities, suburbs, towns, and open stretches of road, the night will arrive quietly. It will hum through appliances and streetlights. It will hold sleeping rooms and empty sidewalks. It will allow nothing remarkable to happen. It will do its work perfectly. And then it will leave. The pattern continues, night after night, without variation strong enough to be noticed. Each evening arrives carrying the same quiet expectations, and each morning accepts the same quiet results. Nothing needs to be adjusted, nothing needs to be improved. The system works because it asks for so little. As daylight fades once more, homes across the country resume their familiar shapes. The angle of the light changes. Walls catch softer shadows. The air inside feels slightly heavier, as if settling in for a longer stay. Windows reflect interiors again, turning private rooms into faint mirrors. People return home with the day still clinging to them. Shoes are kicked off near doors. Bags are set down and left where they fall. The energy of the outside world is gradually released, piece by piece, until only the essentials remain. Conversations slow, movements lose urgency. Lights are turned on in rooms that will soon be empty. Hallways glow briefly, closets open and close. These actions happen without thought, guided by habit rather than intention. The night welcomes this predictability. Televisions come on again, offering familiar voices and stories that require no effort to follow. Someone dozes on a couch. Someone else scrolls endlessly, absorbing nothing in particular. Time passes without being measured closely. Outside, the evening settles evenly across neighborhoods. The sky darkens in layers, first the distant edges, then the space above rooftops, and finally the areas between streetlights. The transition is smooth enough to feel inevitable. Streetlights activate again, one by one, as if responding to a signal they have learned by heart. Their glow lands softly on pavement and grass. Nothing reacts. The light is accepted without question. Night deepens gently, sounds soften, the day's sharp edges dissolve. What remains is a quieter version of the same world, still functioning, still intact, just less demanding. In bedrooms, the process of rest begins again. Phones are placed within reach, just in case. Alarms are set, sometimes checked twice. Lamps click off. Darkness fills the spaces left behind, settling comfortably into corners and along ceilings. Sleep arrives unevenly.
Some drift off quickly, others take longer. The night does not rush them. It allows the time to stretch as needed, unbothered by clocks or schedules. Outside, roads empty again. A car passes occasionally, then disappears. The sound lingers briefly, then fades. The night closes the gap it left behind. The hours move forward quietly. Midnight passes unnoticed. The deepest calm returns. The country rests within itself, balanced and still, held together by routines that have proven reliable simply by repeating. And in this repetition, the ordinary American night finds its purpose, not in change, not in excitement, but in its steady presence. It exists so that nothing has to happen. It arrives so that everything can pause. When it leaves again later, it will do so quietly, without acknowledgement, ready to return when it is called back once more by the fading of light and the slowing of the world. And so it continues, night after night, calm, unremarkable, and perfectly content to be forgotten.
Eventually, the darkness reaches its familiar midpoint again. The calm is complete. The world feels briefly suspended, not stopped, just resting between motions. Nothing asks to be done. Nothing expects attention. And once more, without warning, the shift begins. A subtle lightening of the sky, a sound that suggests morning is not far away. The night loosens, as it always does, prepared to release its hold. It leaves behind the same quiet order it found. Nothing broken, nothing rearranged. Just a sense that time has passed gently, without friction. Soon the day will take over again, and the night will fade from immediate awareness. But it will not be gone. It will be waiting, patient and unchanged, ready to return when the light dims once more. Until then, it remains what it has always been, calm, ordinary, and perfectly content to let nothing happen at all.
The ordinary American night, in its quiet persistence, stretches onward, unhurried and unobserved. Across thousands of towns and cities, it blankets the country with a uniform softness. Windows reflect its dim glow. Roofs and sidewalks absorb it without protest. The night does not announce itself, it simply is. Inside homes, the subtle rituals continue in gentle repetition. A glass of water left on a bedside table waits patiently for morning. The refrigerator hums with unwavering consistency. Small appliances tick or click in near silence, performing their routine work with no thought of recognition. Every object in the household participates, willingly or not, in the slow orchestration of stillness. In bedrooms, those still awake move quietly. A page is turned. Fingers tap lightly on keyboards. Lids click closed on books and notebooks. Every movement is minimal, deliberate, conscious or unconscious, and harmonizes with the overall calm. The night absorbs each action, neutral and indifferent. Outside, the streets carry a similar order. A lone car passes slowly, tires whispering against asphalt. Its headlights glide over curbs and lawns, illuminating things that are almost invisible in daylight, but hardly remarkable now. A dog's distant bark echoes softly, answered only by the wind through trees. Night does not interfere. It accepts each sound as part of its gentle dominion. Appliances, lights, and electronics hum along in their own quiet rhythms. The faint tick of a clock merges with the low vibration of a heater, the occasional drip of a faucet, or the distant rustle of leaves. These sounds are not intrusive. They are part of the texture of the night. They remind the world, silently, that the night is present, holding it all together. Windows reflect interior light in varying degrees. A curtain moves slightly in a breeze that passes undetected.
The night accommodates these minor changes with no reaction. It does not judge, it does not correct, it does not hasten or slow. It merely contains and allows. Somewhere a television murmurs in the background. Its images are not followed, its stories forgotten almost immediately. Someone nods off mid-scene, drifting further into sleep while the night continues its patient vigil. Outside, the sky maintains its inky calm, stars barely perceptible in suburban haze or city glow, yet present if one cares to notice. Even the occasional disturbances are absorbed effortlessly. A door slams softly, quickly fading. A neighbor coughs. A train passes far away. The night accommodates everything, neither magnifying nor diminishing it. In this way, it teaches, silently, that life need not be loud to exist. Time moves forward at its normal pace, yet the night stretches it gently. The hours seem longer than they should, not because they are extended, but because the night offers no distractions, no urgency, no abrupt transitions. Everything can unfold slowly. Nothing is required. In kitchens, dishes are stacked, leftovers covered, and counters wiped clean. The actions are simple, mundane, entirely ordinary, yet within their ordinariness lies a kind of rhythm that only the night can create, a rhythm of minimal motion, repetition, and quiet consistency. The world outside remains subdued. Streetlights glow, casting soft halos on empty sidewalks. Trees sway with invisible hands, and the occasional wind carries a faint, neutral scent of grass, asphalt, or distant wood smoke. Night exists in these subtleties, not in spectacle or drama. People sleep in stages, some in deep, uninterrupted rest, others in restless dozing. Dreams drift in all directions, unbound and fleeting, dissolving before memory can claim them. The night neither interferes nor participates. It simply holds space for rest, calm, and quiet continuity. And so the ordinary American night continues, stretching seamlessly from one hour to the next, carrying with it the same calm, the same unremarkable yet essential presence. It holds everything in place without effort, without recognition, without interruption. The country sleeps, rests, hums, and breathes under its gentle watch. And when the first pale light of dawn begins to seep over the horizon, the night loosens its grip ever so slowly. It does not rush, it does not protest, it simply fades into memory, leaving behind the order and calm that only it can maintain, ready to return when the sun once again sets and darkness calls it back to its quiet, patient work. The ordinary American night will return, as it always has and always will, calm, consistent, and perfectly content to do absolutely nothing except exist, holding the world gently within its quiet, unremarkable embrace. As the first hints of morning stretch across the sky, the night retreats, but does so with deliberation, never abruptly. Darkness lingers in corners of rooms where the sun's reach is slowest. Curtains filter early light, creating soft gradients on walls and floors. The transition is gradual, almost imperceptible, so that the world barely notices the shift from one state to another. Inside houses, the faint hum of night's machinery, the refrigerator, the furnace, the occasional drip of water, continues alongside the new sounds of morning. Footsteps are careful and deliberate. Someone moves toward the kitchen to pour a cup of coffee. Someone else adjusts a blanket, reluctant to leave the warmth behind. The night does not demand attention, but its presence is felt in these small, unhurried motions. Outside, shadows shrink as the sun climbs higher. Streetlights extinguish one after another, almost apologetically, leaving the sidewalks and driveways bathed in soft, natural light.
Birds begin to sing tentatively at first, and then more confidently, announcing the day in fragmented, uneven bursts. A dog barks, not at anything in particular, and a distant lawnmower starts with a gentle rumble. The world awakens slowly, building upon the foundation the night has laid. Even in the city, where activity grows faster, the echoes of the night persist. Traffic increases, but not yet to its full intensity. Deliveries are made, joggers pass by, early workers step onto the streets. The hum of human activity begins to replace the hum of quiet appliances, yet the calm of the night remains embedded in the spaces between these sounds, like a memory that refuses to fade completely. In bedrooms, people stir from sleep at different paces. Some wake naturally, eyes blinking slowly as they adjust to light and sound. Others are coaxed awake by alarms, the harsh interruptions slightly jarring against the smooth calm of the night. Yet even these abrupt awakenings are cushioned by the lingering quiet that the night has cultivated. Kitchens come alive gradually, coffee brews, toasts pop, and the clinking of utensils punctuates the air in a gentle rhythm. These ordinary actions, repeated millions of times across the country, mark the transition from night to day. And yet there is a sense of continuity. Though the night is ending, it has not vanished. Its influence remains in the slow, unhurried patterns of movement, the steady breathing, the soft attentiveness to routine. In suburban neighborhoods, porches are illuminated by the early sun instead of artificial lights. Driveways, empty and still for hours, now see cars leave for work or errands. Mailboxes await letters still unvisited, but no longer alone. The world begins to hum with activity, but it does so against the backdrop of the night that has performed its quiet, invisible work. Even in more rural areas, where the morning arrives more subtly, the night leaves its imprint. Dew clings to grass and rooftops, lingering from the cooler darkness. Small animals move about with measured precision, aware that the day brings warmth and activity, yet still guided by the rhythms of the night that has just passed. Streams, roads, and open fields hold the memory of stillness, a subtle reminder that for hours nothing was required and everything was held in place. And then, as morning establishes itself fully, the night steps aside completely. The ordinary American night, having done exactly what it was meant to do, holding everything in quiet, calm, predictable stillness, ceases to be the dominant presence, but it leaves behind the pattern of continuity, the small ease of things being in order, and the gentle reminder that the world can function without spectacle, without drama, and without urgency. Though it disappears, it is never truly gone. It waits, as it always has, for the return of the sun, the slow passage of hours, and the inevitable evening that will invite it back to do its quiet work once more.
Though it disappears, it is never truly gone. It waits, as it always has, for the return of the sun, the slow passage of hours, and the inevitable evening that will invite it back to do its quiet work once more. The ordinary American night is patient, consistent, unremarkable yet essential, a quiet companion to every day that unfolds, ready to hold everything in place again and again, perfectly content in doing absolutely nothing except existing. And so the cycle continues. Night arrives, night holds, night leaves. Each repetition is unremarkable to those who live it, yet it is a subtle foundation upon which the rhythm of everyday life depends. It is in these calm, ordinary nights that the extraordinary consistency of daily life is quietly ensured. The ordinary American night will always return, without fanfare, without expectation, perfectly content to do nothing at all, and in that nothingness it achieves its quiet perfection. As the day progresses, the night recedes further into memory, but it does not vanish entirely. Its influence lingers in subtle ways. in the evenness of a person's breath, in the stillness of furniture that has remained undisturbed, in the faint residual hum of appliances that have been running all night. The ordinary American night leaves behind a world quietly ordered, perfectly aligned for the routines that daylight will bring. In homes, people move through their morning and early afternoon with little thought of what transpired while they slept. The bed, now empty, still bears the impressions of bodies that rested there. Pillows remain slightly indented, blankets slightly creased. These are traces of the night's presence, unnoticed but persistent. Kitchens, having been briefly animated by breakfast, quiet again as dishes soak or are placed in the dishwasher, the movements echoing the careful monotony of the night hours. Outside, streets become busier, but the calm the night instilled does not fully disappear. Sidewalks, once only bathed in streetlight, now feel alive with the rhythmic patterns of pedestrian movement. Yet even as cars pass, their tires rolling with predictable regularity, the memory of empty roads and hushed quiet seems to linger in the shapes of shadows and the spaces between sounds. Trees sway gently, responding to the wind as though carrying forward the night's patience into the day. In suburban neighborhoods, lawns and gardens absorb the sun's warmth slowly, holding on to the freshness of night dew for a few hours longer. Porches that were silent hours ago now see brief activity, someone stepping out for air, checking the mailbox, or simply pausing before entering the routines of work or school. But even these small stirrings occur against a backdrop of the night's memory, a reminder of how still the world can be when no one is in a hurry. In urban areas, the contrast is even clearer. Skyscrapers rise above bustling streets, windows reflecting the daylight, while the hum of the city slowly grows. Delivery trucks move along their routes, commuters walk to public transport, and sirens punctuate the soundscape at irregular intervals. Yet beneath all this activity, the echo of night remains in the quiet corners, the stairwells, the quiet lobbies, the apartments still sleeping. In these spaces, the night's work continues unnoticed, silently keeping order, even amidst the chaos of daytime life. By mid-afternoon, the ordinary American night seems almost distant, yet it has subtly prepared the day. Water has continued to flow silently through pipes, electrical systems have functioned without interruption, and the routines of domestic life have remained possible because the night allowed the world to pause, to recover, and to rest. In this way, even the most unremarkable night becomes essential, holding the structure of daily life together without fanfare or recognition. As the evening approaches once more, the cycle of calm begins again. Shadows lengthen, light softens, and a gentle coolness returns to the air. People start returning home from work, carrying the energy of the day, unaware that the ordinary night is preparing to resume its watch. Windows darken as lights are turned on. Inside, rooms begin their quiet transformations in preparation for the approaching night. Lamps click on softly. Curtains shift slightly as people move about. The world enters a state of transition, carried forward by the invisible hand of night's routine. By the time darkness truly settles, the ordinary American night has returned. Streets empty, lights hum steadily, and houses exhale into stillness. The air carries the familiar quiet scent of calm and rest. People retreat into bedrooms, couches, or reading chairs, preparing to surrender to sleep once again. Appliances continue their low-level work, unnoticed but faithfully performing their functions. The night has resumed, perfectly consistent and perfectly unremarkable, holding everything in place once more. And so it continues, night after night, hour after hour, without need for spectacle, drama, or attention. The ordinary American night moves forward in predictable patterns, gently guiding the world through stillness, preparing it for the next day, and leaving no trace of itself
other than the seamless continuity of life. It is unremarkable, yet essential. It is calm, yet vital. It is ordinary, yet in its ordinary state lies extraordinary consistency. This is the quiet foundation upon which countless days unfold. And it will continue to return, evening after evening, perfectly content to exist, perfectly content to do nothing at all, while ensuring that everything else may continue exactly as it should.
As the evening deepens, the ordinary American night settles fully into its role as it has for countless years. The streets, once bustling with early evening errands, gradually quiet down. Cars slow and turn into driveways. Pedestrians retreat into homes, leaving only the faintest impressions of movement behind. Streetlights cast their steady circles of light, illuminating sidewalks and lawns with a muted glow that demands no attention. Inside homes, the routines of evening unfold quietly. Dishes are washed and dried, counters wiped clean, the occasional hum of a dishwasher blending seamlessly with the steady tick of clocks. Televisions placed softly in living rooms, the sound muted or barely noticed, just enough to accompany someone's thoughts or provide background noise for an otherwise empty space. Lamps are turned on in strategic corners, their warm light replacing the fading traces of the day. Bedrooms prepare themselves for the night's main purpose. Pillows are fluffed, blankets straightened, and the faint creak of beds as people settle in echoes softly through hallways. Some remain awake longer, reading or scrolling on their devices, but even their movements are subdued, careful not to disturb the overarching stillness. Sleep does not need to be forced here. It arrives in its own time, as the night encourages slow and uninterrupted rest. Outside, the world grows even quieter. A distant dog may bark once, fading immediately into the calm. Leaves rustle lightly in a breeze, moving without urgency. Trees sway gently, their shadows stretching and shrinking as streetlights illuminate them intermittently. Sidewalks, empty and still, seem almost to hold their breath, waiting for the occasional footstep, which is rare and fleeting. In rural areas, the night's presence feels more expansive. The dark stretches uninterrupted over fields, forests, and empty roads. Crickets chirp rhythmically, frogs call intermittently near water, and the faint glow of a farmhouse window marks the only sign of human activity. The night here is deep, unhurried, and almost tangible in its stillness, creating a space where time itself seems to slow. In cities, the contrast is more subtle but no less real. Office buildings remain lit on upper floors, where a late worker finishes a report or a security guard makes rounds. Traffic hums faintly in the distance, and the occasional siren pierces the quiet briefly before fading again. Even in these places of constant motion, the night maintains its invisible order, holding the chaos at bay, creating pockets of calm within the bustle. Appliances and systems continue their unnoticed work. Refrigerators hum, water heaters maintain warmth, furnace fans move air quietly. Electronics blink, routers send signals, and clocks tick steadily. These mechanisms are part of the night's structure, quietly ensuring that everything remains functional, that everything remains predictable. Their consistency is unnoticed, but without it, the quiet balance of ordinary life would falter. As the hours stretch further into the late night, sleep deepens across households. Some rooms are completely silent, while others hold faint sounds, the soft turning of a page, a pen scratching on paper, the gentle tapping of a keyboard. All of these sounds are absorbed into the broader texture of the night, which does not react, does not judge, and does not seek recognition. It simply exists, patient and constant. The ordinary American night does not need spectacle or excitement. Its purpose is fulfilled in the small, repetitive, and predictable actions of countless homes and streets. It holds spaces steady, allows systems to function, and provides the conditions for rest, recovery, and quiet continuity. Without it, the day that follows would feel abrupt, incomplete or unmoored. With it, life flows seamlessly, hour to hour, night to night. And when the earliest hint of dawn appears again, it begins its gentle transition. Shadows retreat, streetlights flicker and die, birds call tentatively from trees and rooftops, appliances remain faithful to their silent routines, people stir in beds, and slowly, imperceptibly, the night loosens its hold. Yet it leaves behind a perfect order, a calm that lingers, a consistency that cannot be measured but can be felt in the quiet movement of everyday life. And even as the day fully asserts itself, the ordinary American night does not vanish. It remains, waiting patiently for the next sunset, for the next quiet stretch of hours, ready to hold the country once more in its gentle, unremarkable embrace. Night after night, year after year, it returns, unnoticed yet essential, ordinary yet indispensable, perfectly content to exist and to do nothing at all, while ensuring that the world continues exactly as it should.
As darkness deepens once more, the ordinary American night resumes its quiet dominion. Houses settle into familiar patterns. Lights flick on in living rooms where televisions play softly, unmoving figures slouched on couches, and the low murmur of voices, sometimes a single word, sometimes none at all, adds to the gentle texture of the evening. Kitchens emit faint hums of appliances, the refrigerator, the dishwasher, a coffee pot left on its warming cycle. Each sound is ordinary, each motion predictable, each rhythm perfectly absorbed into the night's calm. Outside, the streets are mostly empty. A single car passes slowly, headlights casting soft, fleeting illumination across lawns and sidewalks. Trees sway gently, shadows stretching across driveways and streets. The occasional rustle of leaves or the distant bark of a dog punctuates the silence, but never disrupts it. The night holds space for these small, fleeting moments, treating them as part of its essential pattern rather than as interruptions. In bedrooms, sleep deepens. Some individuals stir, adjusting their pillows or blankets without fully awakening. Others lie perfectly still, breathing evenly, and trusting themselves completely to the night's patience. Dreams wander lazily, unremarkable, neither vivid nor alarming, simply passing through consciousness and fading without trace. The night watches over these dreamers silently, ensuring that each body rests and each mind experiences a momentary pause from the day's demands. Appliances and systems continue their silent work. Water moves quietly through pipes. Electricity hums steadily along its invisible paths. Clocks tick in perfect rhythm, unnoticed but dependable. These small, mundane functions of daily life are maintained effortlessly under the night's supervision. The world continues to operate, uninterrupted and unremarkable, because the night provides the space for it. In neighborhoods, porches glow with soft light, occasionally reflecting a figure reading or scrolling through a device. Curtains shift slightly with faint breezes, and a single window may remain lit long after the occupants have left it. These tiny movements, these trivial interactions, are embraced by the night, contributing to the overall calm rather than detracting from it. Even in bustling cities, the night asserts its subtle influence. Office buildings remain partially lit, a security guard makes his rounds, an elevator moves between floors, and the distant hum of traffic provides a gentle background note. Sirens or horns may sound, but they are brief intrusions, quickly absorbed into the fabric of the night. The city, too, participates in this quiet choreography, slowed and steadied by the night's invisible hand. Time passes imperceptibly. Hours blend into one another. Midnight comes and goes. Then 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3. The world is suspended in calm continuity.
There is no urgency, no drama, no pressing need for action. Everything simply exists within the space the night has created, from the smallest appliance hum to the softest turning of a page in a quiet bedroom. As the night wears on, subtle patterns emerge across the country. Streetlights follow their predictable cycles, refrigerators hum and fans spin. The occasional creak of a house settling punctuates an otherwise undisturbed silence. A lone owl calls from a distant tree. Somewhere a cat moves across a porch and pauses briefly before continuing on. Every action, every sound is small, ordinary, and perfectly aligned with the night's rhythm. Even in rural areas, the night spreads its influence. Fields lie still under the stars. Fences cast long, faint shadows. Crickets and frogs maintain their gentle symphony, a soundtrack to the stillness of empty roads and sleeping homes. Barns and silos rise silently into the sky, witnesses to the night's work without interruption. As the early morning hours approach, the first faint hints of light begin to touch the horizon. The night does not retreat immediately. It lingers, stretching its influence into these transitional hours. Shadows slowly contract. Streetlights begin their slow dimming. Birds call tentatively, testing the quiet. The night allows this gradual change, neither resisting nor rushing the arrival of day. Inside homes, sleep remains in varying stages. Some awaken naturally, blinking in soft light. Others continue to dream, briefly touched by morning, yet still embraced by the night's hold. Appliances continue their silent work. A coffee pot clicks on as its timer reaches the hour, joining the subtle symphony of waking homes. The ordinary American night steps aside slowly, leaving behind the calm order it has maintained. There is no fanfare, there is no ceremony. Its work is invisible, unappreciated, yet essential. It ensures that life continues smoothly, that routines can unfold, that the world can operate without constant oversight. And as the sun climbs higher, the night fades completely from sight, but not from influence. Its quiet, unremarkable presence has been woven into the pattern of everyday life, unnoticed, yet indispensable. In a few hours, the day will carry on with its usual noise and activity, and soon the night will return again, just as patient, just as calm, and just as perfectly content to do nothing at all, while holding the world gently in its quiet, ordinary embrace.
As the morning spreads its light fully across the land, the ordinary American night finally retreats, but it does not vanish completely. Its influence lingers in subtle ways, in the smooth hum of appliances, in the even rise and fall of breathing, in the faint residue of calm left behind in every room, every street, and every corner of the nation. The day begins, but the night's quiet discipline has prepared everything for the hours to come, ensuring that ordinary life continues without friction. In homes, kitchens are now animated. Coffee brews, eggs fry, and toasts pop with familiar rhythm. Breakfasts are eaten quietly, conversations gentle and slow, a residual echo of the night's calm shaping the pace. Beds stand empty but neat, pillows slightly compressed from the night's rest. Blankets are folded back, not perfectly, but enough to continue the pattern of order established in darkness. Outside, streets slowly awaken. Cars begin their daily routes. Pedestrians appear along sidewalks. Children head toward school, backpacks swinging, voices bright in the morning sun. The world carries a lightness that contrasts the night's stillness, yet even here the night's imprint remains. Streets still function, lights remain predictable, and houses hold the arrangements left undisturbed by the quiet hours.
In suburban neighborhoods, lawns glisten with early dew. Fences cast faint shadows that gradually shrink under the sun's steady ascent. Mailboxes stand ready for deliveries. Porches, once illuminated by streetlights or indoor lamps, now reflect daylight in soft, muted tones. The world hums with activity, yet the night's invisible work underlies every movement, making the ordinary extraordinary only in its reliability. Urban areas, too, exhibit the night's subtle residue. Office buildings hum with early productivity, elevators rise and fall, and the streets carry steady streams of commuters. Even as noise and motion increase, the night's order persists. Electricity flows without interruption, water continues to run, and the quiet patience instilled during hours of darkness allows the city to operate smoothly. Time continues its quiet progression. Mid-morning arrives, and the world moves in patterns that are unremarkable yet consistent. People perform ordinary tasks, laundry, emails, phone calls, errands, none of which require reflection on the night that preceded them. Still, the night's influence persists in every measured step, every functioning system, and every predictable rhythm. As afternoon unfolds, light and shadow dance across the interiors of homes and offices alike. The sun moves gradually, altering the way rooms feel, but never disturbing their fundamental order. Windows open to allow a soft breeze. Chairs are adjusted for comfort. Clocks mark the passage of hours with quiet consistency. Every element of daily life, ordinary in itself, relies on the night having performed its invisible labor. By late afternoon, the anticipation of evening is nearly imperceptible. Streets may see increased movement, yet the calm that follows will arrive unannounced, seamlessly integrating with the rhythms of life. People finish work, return home, and prepare for the gentle descent into another ordinary night. Appliances hum in readiness. Lights flicker on as windows close against the growing dusk. Everything falls into alignment, quietly awaiting the darkness to resume its timeless role. As the first shades of evening appear, shadows stretch across lawns, streets, and buildings. The air grows cooler. Porches glow once more with the soft illumination of lamps. Homes exhale into calm as families settle back into familiar routines. The ordinary American night is preparing to return, and with it comes the predictable, steady rhythm that has guided the country through countless evenings. Televisions murmur softly in living rooms. Lights glow gently in bedrooms. Appliances continue their unnoticed labor. Doors close with minimal creak. Curtains sway slightly in the breeze. Outside, streets empty and sidewalks settle into silence. The night arrives not with spectacle, but with assurance. It holds everything in place, offering a steady, unremarkable calm that allows all else to function without disruption. And as the hours progress toward midnight, sleep deepens across the nation. The night holds all within its gentle embrace. Each household, each street, each city block exists within its quiet rhythm, unobserved yet perfectly aligned. Crickets, distant cars, the occasional wind through trees, all are absorbed into the fabric of the night without fuss or interruption. This ordinary American night continues exactly as it has for generations, calm, consistent, patient, unremarkable, and indispensable. It does nothing extraordinary, yet its work is essential. Life relies on it quietly, almost invisibly, as it has always. And when dawn finally begins its slow approach once again, the night will retreat with the same care and patience with which it arrived, leaving the world prepared for another day, ready for the cycle to begin again. Its presence is a constant, subtle thread woven into the fabric of everyday life, unseen yet indispensable, ordinary yet absolutely necessary.
The night lingers in its calm dominion, stretching across towns, cities, and the quiet expanse of the countryside. Even as the first hints of morning begin to stretch the sky with pale light, the ordinary American night does not rush its retreat. It lingers in corners where shadows still cling, in the faint hum of machines that have worked silently through the hours, in the subtle quiet that allows homes and streets to transition slowly from one state to another. In bedrooms, the final stages of sleep occur. Some stir gently, rolling over without thought. Others breathe evenly, undisturbed, in the last moments before consciousness begins its slow return. Pillows bear the shape of heads that have rested hours ago. Blankets retain the warmth of bodies that have moved, turned, and finally settled. The night's presence is invisible but essential, cushioning the day's arrival and maintaining order in the smallest details. Kitchens begin to animate again. Coffee drips steadily into waiting mugs. Toasters pop quietly. Frying pans hiss faintly as eggs sizzle. Breakfast occurs with predictable rhythm. Conversations murmur gently, punctuated by the scraping of utensils and the soft clinking of dishes. The night has created the conditions for this ordinary flow, a calm foundation upon which the day can proceed without friction. Outside, the streets awaken gradually. Cars begin their daily routes. Pedestrians appear along sidewalks. School buses rumble past, their engines low and steady. Even in the smallest, quietest towns, life moves forward without incident, guided by the night's invisible hand. Dew clings to grass and rooftops, faintly sparkling in the early light. Birds test their songs, tentative at first, then more confident as the world warms with the sun. The ordinary night has prepared the day for this gentle unfolding. In cities, the effect is subtler but equally present. Elevators hum in quiet lobbies, security lights blink softly, traffic grows, sirens occasionally pierce the hum, yet the night's influence continues in the form of systems functioning flawlessly, streets maintaining order, and homes remaining calm havens amidst the bustle. The pattern of ordinary life remains intact because the night has held it together when no one was observing. Afternoon arrives, carrying with it the heat and movement of daily life. People perform their ordinary tasks, laundry, errands, phone calls, emails, brief meetings, all without remembering the night that preceded them. Yet everything flows seamlessly. Water continues to run, lights respond at the flick of a switch, refrigerators hum, air conditioners circulate, and clocks tick steadily. The world functions because the night has done its work, quietly, patiently, invisibly. As late afternoon approaches, shadows lengthen and the light softens. Streets grow quieter as workers return home. Lawns and porches receive the evening glow. Windows open to catch the cool air. The ordinary rhythm of life begins to slow. Families gather in living rooms. Children play quietly or watch muted screens. Meals are prepared with unremarkable efficiency. As evening arrives, the ordinary American night returns. Darkness spreads gradually. Streetlights flicker on, illuminating sidewalks and lawns with muted, steady circles of light. Inside homes, lamps glow softly. Appliances continue their work. People settle into couches and chairs, reading, scrolling, or simply sitting in quiet thought. The air cools, shadows lengthen, and the world prepares once again for the gentle descent into stillness. Sleep begins to descend. Bedrooms darken. Blankets wrap around resting bodies. Pillows cradle heads in familiar shapes. The night holds everything in place. Breathing slows.
Dreams wander, and movements soften. Outside, the street's empty. A dog barks distantly. Leaves rustle softly in a breeze. Cars move rarely, each tire whispering across asphalt before disappearing. The night absorbs all these sounds without comment. Hours pass. Midnight comes and goes. The night stretches its influence across the country. Its calm is consistent and unremarkable. It does not demand attention, it does not create spectacle, it simply holds the world in order. Every household, every street, every city block exists within the gentle framework the night has constructed. Appliances hum, water flows silently through pipes, fans circulate air, clocks tick steadily, a television murmurs softly. The ordinary night watches over all, without recognition, without interference, without complaint. Its work is essential, though invisible. Its influence is quiet but undeniable, shaping the conditions of daily life in ways unnoticed yet deeply felt. In rural areas, the night stretches over fields, forests, and empty roads. Crickets and frogs maintain their gentle symphony. Barns, silos, and fences stand silently under the stars. Streams reflect the faint glow of the moon. The night moves slowly, deliberately, ensuring that every living creature, every system, and every space rests exactly as it should. As the hours approach the earliest hints of dawn, the night does not hurry. Light begins to creep across the horizon, but the night lingers in the shadows, holding the world gently in suspension. Streetlights prepare to dim. Birds call with increasing confidence. People stir in their beds, awakening naturally or reluctantly, carried gently from rest into awareness. The ordinary American night releases its hold slowly, leaving behind order, calm, and continuity. There is no fanfare, no recognition, no announcement. Its work is complete. Life continues smoothly into the day, ready to repeat the same rhythms that will carry it toward the next evening when the night will return again, patient, invisible, unremarkable, and perfectly content to do nothing at all while ensuring that everything else remains exactly as it should.
The ordinary American night continues its timeless work, returning evening after evening, stretching across neighborhoods, towns, and cities without pause or complaint. As the sun dips below the horizon, shadows lengthen and the air cools slightly. Streetlights flicker on, casting their soft, steady glow over sidewalks, lawns, and driveways. The world exhales, and houses settle into familiar routines. Doors close, lights turn on, and the subtle hum of appliances begins once more. Inside homes, kitchens prepare for dinner with quiet efficiency. Pots simmer, kettles whistle faintly, and silverware clinks softly. Families move through the rooms without urgency, performing tasks that are simple, mundane, yet held together seamlessly by the invisible hand of the night. Conversations occur softly, measured in tone, low in volume. The night's calm guides each step, each action, each ordinary movement. In living rooms, televisions play muted shows. Some people read, others scroll on devices, and a few simply sit in quiet thought. Chairs creak lightly as people adjust themselves for comfort. Blankets are wrapped around legs or draped over shoulders. The night holds all of it, the hum of activity, the faint noises, the quiet movements, without judgment, without disruption. Outside, the streets grow quieter as the day's bustle fades. Cars become rare, and those that pass move slowly, almost politely. Trees sway gently in a light breeze. Leaves rustle faintly. Occasional sounds, a dog barking, a cat meowing, a car door closing, are absorbed into the night's texture. Nothing startles, nothing interrupts. All is contained within the night's calm, ordinary framework. In bedrooms, bedtime approaches. Pillows are fluffed, blankets adjusted, and lights dimmed. Some lie awake, reading or thinking, while others drift slowly into slumber. Sleep comes in uneven stages, some deeply, some lightly, some interrupted by small noises or thoughts. The night holds each sleeper with equal patience, ensuring that every body and mind receives the rest it needs. Even in the city, where light and sound are more abundant, the night's influence persists. Office buildings are partially lit on upper floors, security personnel make their rounds, and distant traffic hums softly. The night moves through these spaces silently, holding order in the midst of minor chaos, ensuring that when dawn comes, life continues without friction. Time stretches gently. Hours pass unnoticed. Midnight comes and goes. The night's calm deepens, filling every corner with a stillness that is neither oppressive nor dramatic. Crickets chirp rhythmically in rural areas. Fans hum steadily in urban apartments. The occasional train moves in the distance. All sounds are absorbed, harmonized into the night's quiet symphony. Appliances continue their work. Refrigerators hum, water flows, furnaces circulate warmth, and clocks tick steadily. Electronics blink quietly. These small, ordinary sounds are part of the night's structure, unnoticed yet essential. Without them, the smooth continuation of life would falter, but under the night's care, everything functions flawlessly. In rural landscapes, the night stretches further. Fields lie empty, bathed in soft moonlight. Barns, silos, and fences stand silently. Streams reflect the faint stars above. Wildlife moves slowly, carefully, in tune with the night's rhythm. Even the wind moves deliberately, rustling leaves and grasses with gentle cadence. The night ensures that all these spaces, human and natural, rest in equilibrium. As the first hints of dawn approach, the night does not rush. Light creeps across the horizon slowly, spreading gradually over rooftops, streets, and open fields. Birds test the air with tentative calls. Streetlights prepare to dim. People begin to stir in their beds, some waking naturally, others reluctantly. The night allows this transition to unfold at its own pace, neither hurrying nor resisting. By early morning, the night loosens its hold completely. Homes awaken, streets fill with the first signs of daily movement, and systems continue to function smoothly. The work of the ordinary American night is complete, invisible yet essential. Its calm, patience, and consistency have carried the country through the hours of darkness, ensuring that the day begins in order, ready for life to continue seamlessly. And when the next evening arrives, the night will return once more, unchanged and unremarkable, patient and precise. It will hold houses, streets, and landscapes in gentle stillness, performing the same quiet work, unnoticed but vital, perfectly content to do nothing at all while maintaining the world's invisible balance.
The evening deepens again, and the ordinary American night resumes its quiet, unassuming reign. Across towns and cities, the transition from day to darkness is slow, deliberate, almost ceremonial in its subtlety. Streetlights flicker on one by one, casting their familiar pools of light over sidewalks, lawns, and driveways. The air cools, carrying with it the faint, neutral sense of asphalt, grass, and lingering daytime warmth. The world exhales, settling into the gentle rhythms that only night can provide. Inside homes, kitchens prepare for evening meals. Pots simmer quietly, kettles whistle faintly, and silverware clinks softly against plates and countertops. Families move through these spaces with measured, unhurried motions. Conversations remain gentle, low in tone. The night absorbs these actions, allowing them to unfold naturally, providing a calm backdrop that turns ordinary movements into a seamless dance of routine. Living rooms are illuminated by lamps.
Televisions murmur quietly in the background, and chairs creak softly as occupants adjust themselves. Some read, others scroll on devices, a few simply sit in quiet contemplation. All of these actions, mundane as they may be, exist in harmony with the night's calm authority. The night does not interfere, nor does it demand attention. It simply holds everything in place. Outside, streets gradually empty. Cars become infrequent, moving slowly and predictably. The occasional pedestrian passes, their footsteps absorbed into the larger silence. Trees sway gently, leaves rustling faintly in the evening breeze. Dogs bark occasionally, cats roam stealthily, and distant sirens echo briefly before dissolving into the night's steady rhythm. Every sound, every movement is integrated into the night's quiet structure. Bedrooms prepare for sleep. Pillows are fluffed, blankets straightened, lights dimmed. Some lie awake, reading or scrolling, while others drift effortlessly into slumber. The night holds each sleeper in patient stillness, ensuring that bodies rest, breaths slow, and dreams wander without urgency or intrusion. Sleep deepens in stages, unremarkable but essential. Even in urban centers, the night exerts its subtle control. Office buildings glow faintly in the dark, security lights blink in quiet intervals, and the distant hum of traffic threads through the city streets. Minor disruptions, a siren, a horn, a late vehicle, are absorbed without friction, seamlessly integrated into the night's calm order, maintaining order where chaos might otherwise creep in. Time passes with gentle consistency. Hours stretch and blend into one another. Midnight arrives, then 1, 2, 3 a.m. The night deepens further, yet remains invisible, unremarkable, perfectly consistent. Crickets chirp rhythmically in rural areas. Fans hum steadily in apartments. Streams, wind, and leaves produce their subtle, ongoing symphony. All of these sounds are neither intrusive nor remarkable. They are simply part of the night's steady, invisible work. Appliances and systems continue functioning unnoticed. Refrigerators hum, water circulates, furnaces blow, and clocks tick with unwavering precision. Electronics blink quietly. Their hums and clicks form the texture of the night's ordinary vigilance, uncelebrated yet critical to the smooth continuation of life. In rural landscapes, the night stretches farther still. Open fields lie silent under the stars. Barns, silos, and fences stand motionless, bathed in faint moonlight. Streams reflect constellations above. Wildlife moves cautiously in accordance with the night's rhythm. The wind passes slowly, rustling leaves and grasses in a consistent, gentle cadence. The night ensures all these spaces, human and natural, rest in perfect equilibrium. As the first pale streaks of dawn appear, the night does not retreat abruptly. Light creeps across the horizon, slowly brightening rooftops, streets, and open fields. Birds begin tentative calls. Streetlights prepare to dim. People stir in their beds, some waking naturally, others reluctantly. The night allows this transition to occur at its own pace, neither hurrying nor resisting. By early morning, the night loosens its grip entirely. Homes awaken, streets fill with movement, and life continues uninterrupted. The ordinary American night has done its work, invisible, unremarkable, yet absolutely essential. Its calm has preserved order, maintained systems, and prepared the world for another day, ensuring that life continues smoothly, seamlessly, predictably. And yet, as the sun rises fully, the night waits patiently, knowing that it will return again. Evening will come, light will fade, and the ordinary American night will resume its quiet dominion, holding houses, streets, and landscapes in gentle stillness, performing the same invisible, essential work, perfectly content to do nothing at all, while ensuring that everything else remains exactly as it should.
The evening stretches once more, folding the world gently into the familiar embrace of the ordinary American night. Light fades slowly, casting long, soft shadows over streets, sidewalks, and lawns. Street lights flicker on in their steady sequence, illuminating the world in muted, predictable circles. The air grows cooler, carrying the faint, neutral scents of grass, asphalt, and lingering daytime warmth. Houses exhale as inhabitants move into their evening routines, preparing for the calm that the night will provide. Inside homes, kitchens hum quietly. Dinner is prepared with deliberate, unhurried motions. Pans simmer. Silverware clinks softly against plates, and ovens release faint warmth into the rooms. Families move through these spaces methodically. Conversations are measured, soft, and unremarkable, blending with the subtle ambient noise of the home. The night absorbs these actions, maintaining a quiet consistency that ensures nothing is rushed, nothing is abrupt, and everything unfolds naturally. In living rooms, soft light from lamps illuminates pages of books and the faint glow of screens. Televisions murmur quietly, offering background noise that is more companion than distraction. Chairs creak as people adjust themselves for comfort. Blankets are draped over laps and shoulders. Even these small, ordinary motions are absorbed seamlessly into the night's rhythm, contributing to its quiet, unassuming structure. Outside, the streets quiet further. Cars pass infrequently, their tires whispering against asphalt before fading into distance. Pedestrians move with soft, deliberate steps. Trees sway gently in the evening breeze, and leaves rustle faintly, harmonizing with the occasional bark of a dog or a distant cat's meow. Every sound, every movement is absorbed into the night's texture, becoming part of its calm authority rather than disrupting it. In bedrooms, preparations for the night's main purpose, sleep. Pillows cradle heads in familiar shapes, blankets wrap around resting bodies, and lights dim to near nothing. Some lie awake, reading or scrolling, while others drift effortlessly into slumber. The night folds each sleeper patiently, ensuring that every body and mind receives the rest it needs. Dreams wander slowly, unremarkable, and dissolve without urgency or interference. Even in cities, the night exerts its invisible influence. Office buildings remain faintly lit, security guards move through hallways, and the distant hum of traffic threads quietly through streets. Minor interruptions, a horn, a siren, a car engine, are absorbed seamlessly, their intrusion softened by the night's calm. The city, though more active than quiet towns, remains held in balance, guided by the invisible hand of the night. Hours pass, blending seamlessly. Midnight comes and goes, then 1 a.m., 2, 3. The night deepens without spectacle, without announcement. Crickets chirp rhythmically in rural areas. Fans hum steadily in apartments. Streams, wind, and leaves produce subtle, ongoing symphonies. All of these ordinary sounds are absorbed, harmonized, and held in place by the night's quiet work. Appliances and systems continue their unremarkable yet essential labor. Refrigerators hum, water circulates through pipes, furnaces move air quietly, and clocks tick with unwavering regularity. Electronics blink softly.
These small, ordinary noises form the texture of the night's unseen efforts. Without them, the ordinary world would falter. With them, everything continues smoothly, seamlessly, predictably. In rural landscapes, the night stretches further. Fields lie still under the stars. Barns, silos, and fences rise silently, bathed in faint moonlight. Streams reflect the constellations above. Wildlife moves carefully in tune with the night's rhythm. The wind passes slowly, rustling leaves and grasses in consistent cadence. The night ensures that every living creature, every system, and every space rests undisturbed. As dawn approaches, the night does not retreat abruptly. Light creeps across the horizon, slowly brightening rooftops, streets, and open fields. Birds call tentatively. Streetlights dim in measured succession. People stir in their beds, some waking naturally, others reluctantly. The night allows this transition to unfold at its own pace, neither hurrying nor resisting. By early morning, the night loosens its grip completely. Homes awaken, streets fill with movement, and life continues uninterrupted. The ordinary American night has performed its quiet work, invisible, unremarkable, yet entirely essential. Its calm has preserved order, maintained systems, and prepared the world for the day ahead. And still, it waits, patient and unassuming, knowing that it will return again. Evening will come, light will fade, and the ordinary American night will resume its silent, invisible, yet vital work, holding houses, streets, and landscapes in gentle stillness, perfectly content to do nothing at all, while ensuring that everything else remains exactly as it should.
The ordinary American night returns once more, stretching its calm across the land as the sun dips below the horizon. Shadows lengthen gradually, and the air cools, carrying the faint sense of pavement, grass, and lingering warmth from the day. Street lights flicker on, one by one, casting muted circles of light over sidewalks, lawns, and empty streets. The world exhales collectively, settling into the slow, predictable rhythm that only night can bring. Inside homes, kitchens hum softly as evening routines unfold. Pans simmer, kettles whistle faintly, and the occasional clink of cutlery punctuates quiet conversation. Families move deliberately, methodically. Dinner is prepared without urgency, served without ceremony, and consumed in unremarkable comfort. The night absorbs every motion, every sound, preserving order without demanding attention or recognition. In living rooms, lamps illuminate soft corners. Televisions murmur quietly, screens casting gentle glows across furniture and walls. People read, scroll, or sit in thought, adjusting positions carefully. Blankets are draped over laps or shoulders, adding warmth to the room's calm. Every small action is integrated seamlessly into the night's rhythm, absorbed into the quiet structure that holds homes, streets, and neighborhoods together. Outside, the streets grow quieter. Cars pass infrequently, their tires whispering against asphalt. Pedestrians walk softly, steps slow and deliberate. Trees sway gently, leaves rustling in the breeze. Dogs bark occasionally, cats move stealthily, and distant sirens fade almost immediately into the night. The night's patience transforms each sound into a small, ordinary note in its larger symphony. Bedrooms prepare for sleep. Pillows cradle heads, blankets wrap around bodies. Lights dim, doors close gently.
Some lie awake, reading or scrolling, while others drift effortlessly into slumber. Sleep deepens gradually, unremarkable yet essential. Dreams wander lazily, dissolving without urgency. The night holds each sleeper in its calm embrace, providing the foundation for rest and continuity. Even in cities, the night asserts its quiet dominion. Office buildings glow faintly. Security personnel move along hallways. Elevators hum softly. The distant hum of traffic threads through streets. Sirens or horns may momentarily pierce the calm, but these minor intrusions are absorbed into the night's steady rhythm. Urban life continues, organized and predictable, guided by the invisible hand of darkness. Time stretches effortlessly. Hours pass, blending midnight, 1 a.m., 2, 3. Crickets chirp in rural areas. Fans hum in apartments. Streams, wind, and leaves create subtle, ongoing symphonies. All ordinary sounds, while distinct, are harmonized within the night's quiet work. Appliances and systems continue unnoticed. Refrigerators hum, water flows, furnaces circulate air, clocks tick with perfect consistency, electronics blink softly. These small, ordinary noises maintain the invisible framework upon which life depends. Without them, the ordinary world would falter. With them, everything continues smoothly, seamlessly, predictably. In rural landscapes, the night stretches farther. Fields lie still under the stars. Barns, silos, fences stand silently. Streams reflect the constellations above. Wildlife moves cautiously, guided by the night's rhythm. The wind passes deliberately, rustling leaves and grasses in quiet cadence. The night ensures every living creature, system, and space rests undisturbed. As dawn approaches, the night does not retreat suddenly. Light creeps gradually across rooftops, streets, and open fields. Birds call tentatively, then more confidently. Streetlights dim in orderly sequence. People stir in beds, some waking naturally, others reluctantly. The night allows this slow, unhurried transition, neither resisting nor hastening the arrival of day. By early morning, the ordinary American night loosens its hold entirely. Homes awaken, streets fill with movement, appliances and systems continue seamlessly. The night's work, quiet, invisible, unremarkable, is complete, leaving the world prepared for another day. Its calm has preserved order, maintained systems, and ensured continuity. Even as daylight claims the landscape, the night waits patiently for its return. Evening will come, light will fade, and the ordinary American night will resume its silent, invisible, essential work. It will hold houses, streets, and landscapes in gentle stillness, perfectly content to do nothing at all while ensuring that everything else continues exactly as it should.